Hello friends, welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars. Before we dive in, remember to subscribe and tap the like button. It truly keeps this channel going. Now, on to the story that swept through Turkish entertainment circles today. A trusted insider revealed something that left even seasoned gossip watchers stunned. According to this source, before agreeing to marry Ebru, Akın Akın laid down one unbreakable condition. Nobody saw that coming. Behind their polished red carpet smiles, behind the secret meetings and those quiet reconciliations, there's a deeper, more fragile story, one woven from old wounds, words never spoken, and a promise powerful enough to reshape their future. The trail goes back to the period when Akın and Ebru ended their relationship without spectacle. No public statement, no explosive posts, just a silence that said more than any interview could. They tried to rebuild separate lives. Ebru turned her focus outward, international campaigns, magazine covers, runway appearances, brand launches that kept her constantly in motion. She flew to Milan, Paris, London. She returned to Istanbul only to leave again, always poised and professional, always luminous under the lights. Akın, meanwhile, drew inward. He buried himself in work and, as the source put it, slipped away to Spain for a few weeks that friends described as a soul-cleansing detour. He walked old streets and listened to unfamiliar bells, took long early morning runs, stayed off his phone, and tried to detach the name Ebru from every corner of his mind where it still clung. And yet, distance doesn't erase everything. They drafted messages to each other and never hit send. They typed, deleted, retyped, saved them to notes, and then pretended those notes didn't exist. But the feelings didn't disappear. The biology of their chemistry, the history of their laughter, the private vocabulary that builds between two people who once believed in forever, none of it faded. Every now and then, a song, a place, a scent would pull one back to the other. Their unexpected reunion unfolded under bright lights and polite applause. It was a charity event, a room full of cameras, suits, silk gowns, and rehearsed speeches. They arrived separately, of course they did. And kept their corners, careful, measured, distant. But something happens when two people who know each other that well occupy the same space. A glance lands, a sleeve brushes a sleeve, and the air shifts. The cameras caught it, the split-second recognition, the stillness that appeared in both of their eyes. That tiny moment was enough to set the rumor mill roaring back to life. Suddenly, there were whispers about late-night phone calls. Stories about private dinners at quiet restaurants where the staff is discreet and the lighting is dark. Quiet escapes to Bodrum, slipping into seaside places where no one asks questions and everyone pretends not to notice. They forgave each other many things from the past, missed calls, long silences, the ways pride can make gentle people harsh. But there was one hurt that never fully healed for Akın. It wasn't about jealousy or betrayal. It was about exposure. About love becoming a storyline, about feelings turned into clickable content. And that's why, at a calm dinner in Istanbul, no fanfare, no paparazzi, he finally put everything on the table. A source who says they picked up pieces of the conversation remembers the tone as even and firm. If we are going to do this, if we are going to marry, there's one rule. Don't break it again. The rule was plain, but it carried weight. No publicizing their relationship on social media. No coy hints, no matching posts from different locations that invite detective work, no turning private moments into public debates. He was tired of watching every glance transformed into headlines, every silence treated like a scandal. He had reached a simple conclusion: if their love was going to survive this time, it had to be protected from the constant roar of the internet and the media glare that feeds on ambiguity. He reportedly said it in the clearest way possible. Love doesn't need likes. The resolve in his voice surprised even their closest friends, who had grown used to his habit of carrying the burden quietly. Ebru understood. Fame has always been part of her life, but recognition drags along scrutiny like a shadow. She knew exactly how it felt to watch their story sliced into bite-sized narratives for strangers to consume. The relationship had been gossip fodder more than once, not because they wanted it that way, but because anything left unguarded becomes public property. This time, she chose silence as her strength. She decided to protect what mattered by saying less, showing less, being less available to interpretation. And then came the proposal, if you can call it that. There was no grand ring presented beneath fireworks, no choreographed moment for the cameras. Instead, there was a letter, written in his hand. In that letter he mapped their history with a gentleness that made the paper feel heavier. He reminded her of misunderstandings that were no one's fault, of long nights behind the scenes when their eyes were puffy and the words wouldn't come, of sudden meetings in hotel lobbies that felt like scenes from a film they hadn't agreed to make, and of small getaways that made them feel like ordinary people again. One line, the insider claims, found its way into the world. I want to love you without cameras, without scripts, without an audience. When Ebru finished reading, she cried. Not because it was extravagant, but because it was honest. She answered him in the only way that mattered. I won't fail us this time. This time it's just you and me. From that night onward, their story slipped into a new chapter. They've been more private than ever since then. The murmur around them has grown into a wave. Quiet talk of an intimate wedding abroad, far from curious lenses. Some say they were spotted examining small villas in Tuscany, walking through sunlit courtyards and imagining an I do spoken to the breeze and the vines. A place where the only witness louder than the crickets would be the sound of two people promising in total honesty. Naturally, fans reacted. Many praised the decision as tender and mature, saying they deserved to protect their happiness after everything. Others said they felt a little sad, worrying they would miss those raw glimpses that used to excite the fandom, the candid photos, the live-stream smiles, the quick interviews that felt like secrets. But friends, those who actually know them, whisper another story. They say this quieter phase has drawn the two of them closer than ever. One of Ebru's friends put it simply, he is her calm. He shows her how beautiful silence can be, how holding a moment close can make it shine. People close to Akın say they've never seen him so certain. There's a steadiness to him these days, a way he speaks that suggests he's already living under that one rule and is grateful for it. In recent weeks, their public appearances have grown scarce. It's deliberate. They no longer follow each other on social media, not because there's a rift, but because the world reads meaning into every tiny digital move and they refuse to play along. They don't share photos together anymore. And yet, witnesses say they're inseparable when it counts. They've been spotted leaving the same gym minutes apart, grabbing breakfast in unremarkable cafes where the only thing special is the peace, and slipping into events through side doors, the kind that don't have press stanchions waiting on the other side. When reporters do catch them, they're met with a warm smile or a polite no comment. It's not coldness. It's quiet intention. After years of speculation, breakups, near misses, and seemingly permanent closes that never truly held, it looks like they've found it, the secret that keeps something fragile strong. Less noise. More intimacy. A single, simple boundary that doesn't feel like a restriction at all anymore. Instead, it's become the thread that ties them together. Their love story is finally being written in a place where nobody else gets to hold the pen. Fans keep dreaming about the wedding. They piece together itineraries from grainy airport footage and analyze backgrounds of innocuous photos that might be Italy, might be Spain, might be just a pretty wall in Istanbul. If everything unfolds the way it's whispered, the ceremony won't be in a hall or a hotel. It'll be on a quiet edge of the Mediterranean, far from cameras, with the sea's hush as the only soundtrack. They'll arrive without an entourage, speak softly, and say the words that matter to exactly no one but themselves. There's a lesson in this for anyone who has watched their story from the sidelines. Romance doesn't become more real just because it's visible. An audience can enlarge a moment, but it can also distort it. What they're choosing now is not secrecy for its own sake, but protection, a small sanctuary built from trust and shared resolve. They aren't hiding their happiness. They're preserving it. You can feel the shift even in the little things. The lack of cryptic captions. The absence of carefully choreographed shadows in stories that invite speculation. The way they leave events, not together, not separately, but thoughtfully, so that the moment stays theirs. Friends say their conversations have gotten deeper and lighter at the same time. Deeper because they share everything, lighter because they no longer carry the weight of outside opinion into every conversation. They've cut away the noise, and in the quiet they can finally hear each other again. Of course, not everyone will understand. There will always be a faction that believes love only counts when it's public. But those who have been in the trenches of a relationship know better. The most important vows are the ones you keep when no one's watching. The most meaningful apologies are the ones spoken softly in kitchens and cars and long walks at dusk. That's where they're living now. Outside the algorithm's loop, beyond the daily expectations of a fandom trained to read patterns where none exist. Maybe that's why the handwritten letter matters so much. In an age of grand gestures designed to be shared, he chose something that cannot be filtered or edited. Paper, ink, intention. And she answered in kind, not with a spectacle but with a choice that shows up every day. To keep this between them. To honor a rule that protects more than it restricts. To build something strong enough to hold up under the weight of two big lives and the attention that follows them everywhere. So yes, the rumors are likely true. They are quieter. They are less available. They are not interested in feeding the conversation unless the conversation is with each other. And yet, if you look closely, the proof of their closeness is everywhere that matters, in the places where cameras don't go. The early morning gym exit where they exchange a look that says, "See you in 10." The coffee cup passed across a table in a cafe that will never tag them. The events they attend without rushing the carpet, savoring the work, then slipping away. To anyone asking for a statement, they answer the same way, a smile, a nod, or that familiar phrase, "No comment." Maybe this is what it takes to make love last when the world keeps watching. Less performance. More presence. Less spectacle. More truth. And if the wedding happens the way insiders suggest, it will be the purest expression of that promise, a ceremony on the shore, no flashbulbs, just the sea and a horizon that belongs to them alone. A choice, finally, to live the story for themselves. Thank you for watching Secrets Behind the Stars. We'll keep listening, carefully, respectfully, and we'll be here to share what we can when it's time. Until then, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.